Welcome to the Rabbit Hole Club, where we're keeping it surreal and talking about all things odd, mysterious, and paranormal. This is show 007. Tonight, I welcome back my sister from another Mr. Christine Blue for a third night. We're going to talk about some of our paranormal investigations as Show Me Ghost West, which includes the Ghost of Dwarf Road, incredible EVP conversations, debunking a UFO, and all kinds of other weird shit. It's candid, with plenty of colorful euphemisms and adult language, so be advised. Before we dive in too deep, remember to visit my Patreon account and become a member so I can keep bringing you fun and freaky shows with colorful guests and amazing stories. It's full of fun little goodies that'll make you go, Patreon.com/The Rabbit Hole Club. If you want to follow me on social media, you can find all of that on my new website, therabbithole.club. Be sure to like and follow while you're there watching creepy and cool stuff. If you or someone you know would like to share a scare, personal experience, or anything else odd and unusual, you can call my hotline at 816-514-5084. Leave a message there or send an email to submit@therabbithole.club. I'll be happy to do an interview, play your message on the air, or read your experience to my listeners. And now, on to the show. There was another one that we did out at Plunkett's Field.
Plunkett's Field. That we went out there because we had been asked by some friends of my son to come out and just check the place out for whatever we might find, whether it be ghostly or
Cryptid
or
wild animal,
UFO-y, whatever. They weren't sure. They had experiences with something they were looking at more like a Momo type,
or a Mothman,
right? And we had two stories from two different guys about the same area. And so yeah, these people were like, you can come out and sit in our field, we're good with that. And so we did. It was summer, but it wasn't like bug ridden, and it wasn't super hot. As a matter of fact, I think I remember wearing a jacket that night. Yeah,
so it might have been late summer, early fall.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah. And so yeah, you and Bob went and put up trail cams all along the back of forestry around this field.
Right, facing back towards the field at the edge of the tree line.
Sherry and I set up camp kind of in the middle of the field.
We just sat in the middle of this field.
We had our table set up.
And we had our table set up.
With our equipment so that we could get to it quickly. You and Bobby walked the fence line, the tree line, for a long time.
Yep.
Sherry and I set up at camp for a while. Then you guys came back. I never had any interest in going over to the tree line. There were a lot of, I don't know.
It was creepy.
Creepy feelings. And I'm okay with wood, usually. It doesn't bother me. The woods don't usually bother me. So I just stayed in the field. And, again, some weird things happened.
Yes. So, and I'll post some of those EVPs or whatever the hell they are, because we don't know what they are. We were all sitting around, and I went to go to the tailgate to pick up some equipment or change a battery, or I don't remember what I was doing. But we're all just kind of shooting the shit back and forth and giggling, and Chris says, "Shh, do you hear that?" And we're like, what? Shh! Do you hear that? What?
It sounds like a growl.
Well, interestingly enough, we got audio of that growl.
We did.
What was that noise?
What noise?
It sounded like a growl.
What? Because,
No, it's just like me sitting in a chair. There's a bump in the face. That's what it sounded like. I went over and checked the camera, it was off.
It is creepy.
It is creepy, and we're not sure what to think about it, but I don't know. I agree with you. I think it sounds kind of cat-like.
It sounds very cat-ish to me. Some sort of a bobcat or something.
I don't know. It was a big cat, whatever it was.
There's panting.
Yes.
There's definite panting. There's definite growling. And it was definitely close to us.
Oh, it was like
way
within
closer
steps.
than we should have been to anything like that.
Absolutely.
But we never saw anything.
Nope.
And
but the grass was like chest high on me.
It was. We were out in the field.
Right.
And so that was kind of scary.
That was kind of scary. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is one of my all-time favorites, Dwarf Road.
Dwarf Road.
Paul
Ford. We
love
love
our
you, Paul.
So, I am a special effects artist, or that's been my career for the last 20 some odd years. I work in film, I work in commercial, I do live work, I do theater work, I do it all. And I filmed a movie called The Albino Farm, and I think that they've since changed the name of it, although I don't know what the name is. But The Albino Farm was it was a horror movie, and it was based on a real place in Springfield, Missouri, where back in the day, all of the rejects, the societal rejects, were sent, and they interbred and had monsters, and that was the local lore. Well, these writers decided to create a horror film out of that, and they invited me to be their special effects artist. So we traveled down to Springfield and Warrensburg, and we shot all over Missouri. One of the places we shot was on a road outside of Warrensburg, Missouri. And I get a phone call, oh golly, many, many months after we wrapped on production.
Yes.
And it was one of the producers. He called me and he said, hey, I know you're into all that paranormal stuff, and I have something I want you to look at. So he sent me this image. And this image was it was one frame of the film. And we had Paul Ford, who was in the movie, he was a dwarf. Well, he's a little person, but in the movie, he was one of the dwarfs, from the local albino farm. And the kids almost hit him in a car because he's scraping roadkill off the middle of the street. Well, this one frame freaked the editors out because it had an anomaly in it that looked like a face.
A giant face surrounding Paul in the middle of the road.
Right. So he sent it to me, and we analyzed it, and I have no idea. The editors had no idea. It freaked them out and creeped them out. They did pull that frame from the movie, so it's not in the movie, but I have that frame, and actually I have a video up, a couple of videos up on Dwarf Road, where you can see the whole thing, including our investigation there. So we decided that we were going to Dwarf Road, and we were going to do our first investigation of a stretch of road.
Yes, a stretch of road.
So we learned a lot that night. Like, bugs really dig UV light.
Yes, they do.
If you're outside doing an investigation, dispense with the UV lights.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to have more bugs than light.
Yes. Yes. They come across really cool when you look at them, as pictures
Right.
and stuff. But yeah, it hindered some of our investigation.
Little bit.
But what we did ultimately get in the end was
incredible.
It was incredible, and it really, the contrast between what we were getting through the bugs, and ambient light.
Right.
This thing showed up, and it was undeniable.
Right. From two different cameras, two different camera angles.
Yes. So that was a good thing.
Right. Oh, that was such a fun thing. Poor Paul. I felt so bad at him. Going back, I just refreshed myself on all that video here recently.
Yeah.
Going back and watching him, and he's like, here I am in the dark, in the middle of the night. Hold me, Mommy. So funny. Oh, and the bugs. Oh my God, the bugs were intense. So what we did manage to get, and again, you can go look at the video. I'll put a link in the description so you can go check it out. What we did get was two different, one video and one photograph of somebody super short, dressed in some kind of a robe or a gown or something. Dark, very dark. And it was about, what would you say, 50 yards down the road from us?
50 yards down the road by the little bridge.
Right.
And we had out by the little bridge.
Right. It was hanging out by the little bridge, which is where we also put one of our safety cones.
Yes.
Which is how we saw him.
Yes, because it's right beside our safety cone.
Now, from Sherry's camera angle, which was the still camera, you can't see the cone reflection at all.
Right.
Because of this figure standing there.
Right.
From my camera angle, which is just off to her left slightly, you can see the cone reflection, and standing right next to it is this small figure.
Yes. It was very cool.
It was very cool. That was one of my favorites.
And we don't know if it was the figure that created the face in this photograph from the production company or not.
Right.
It kind of tied in together. It was the same stretch of road. It was something that could have been about the right size.
It was really even only a few feet away from where the original image was taken.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was right there.
It was.
We don't know what it was, but it was cool.
As with a lot of our investigations and things that we come up, we can't say definitively what anything is.
Right.
That is part of being paranormal.
Right. All right, so the next topic that I really want to go over with you, because you're so freaking talented with this, is EVPs.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. EVPs are also known as electronic voice phenomenon. And basically what happens is, while you are recording, and it can be the audio on a video recorder, or it can be the audio on an audio recorder, you will find voices and whistles and machinery and animals and music and all kinds of different things that you didn't hear while you were recording, but they're certainly there when you go back to review.
Yes.
Now, some of the EVPs that we've gotten over the years are, I mean, wow.
They are incredible.
They are. They're beyond most of everything that I hear out there now.
So much so, we were so impressed by them that we at one point were really trying to figure out how to get a network of everybody's EVPs, to have a central database,
That's a good idea.
We talked about it for a long time, but
kind of fell through.
It did. I mean, EVPs can be
manipulated.
Much like a picture can be manipulated.
Yeah, it's a digital age.
Yeah, and we were doing this just at the beginning of all of this digital wondrous stuff.
Well, we used to do it back in the day when you used a cassette tape recorder.
Cassette tape recordings, yes. Back in the day, we did.
And the cheesier the recorder.
And Polaroid cameras.
The cheesier the recorder, the better the EVPs. Don't know why, but that goes with digital or with tape, either one.
It's true. It is true. So yeah, we did get a lot of really good EVPs over the course of that time. And you can listen to them through Show Me Ghost West, on YouTube or through
I have some of
the
them up on the
Rabbit
Rabbit
Hole
Hole Club. Yep, sure do.
I know we don't have all of them, and we don't have a website anymore, which we did at one point that had almost all of them on there.
Yeah.
And at some point, we'll probably get that back up and running. It's just not right now.
Right.
We've all got other things going on.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that a national database of EVPs would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool.
We've just gotten so many great ones. With EVPs and pictures, but EVPs especially, you can be fooled.
Yes.
By things that you do not know are happening.
I know where you're going with this one.
We have to check ourselves every once in a while, and we have to laugh at ourselves when we are convinced that we have this wonderful EVP
In German.
Only to find out that it was one of a guests that we had with us at the time.
Mumbling behind us.
And we didn't know. You know, you learn real quick what you can or what you should and shouldn't do on a true paranormal investigation. And usually having more than 4 people there is going to be a problem.
Well,
when
that's
it comes
one
to EVPs.
That's one of the reasons that we never took anybody extra with us,
Right.
and we always balked whenever the property owner wanted to stick around.
Right.
You know, one, it's dangerous.
It is.
I don't want to take responsibility for that.
Right.
You know, if something should happen, you know, you don't have to believe in possession. You don't have to believe in spirits. But let me tell you what, we've had to clean up those messes before.
Yes.
And they're no fun for anybody.
That's right.
So, you know, you don't want anybody getting hurt, which is also a possibility. You don't want to assume that liability.
Exactly.
And then you have the contamination
Yes.
of extra people when you're trying to get pristine information and
Especially
investigate.
EVPs.
Right.
You have no film to back you up. This
Right.
is just a voice recording.
Right. That's right. So yeah, the German was really, really funny.
We did an investigation, and we thought we had a really, really good EVP.
That was in German.
And that was in German. And we thought, hey, you know, this is great because people are always saying, why are ghosts always talking in English?
They don't.
And we thought, they don't. We have a German EVP here. And we even went to the point to get someone who speaks German, and they laid it out, and they said, yes, and this is what they're saying. And we were all excited, and we were getting ready to publish.
And then we found out that it was one of our guests.
There you go.
Feel anything just standing?
Come on, Flash.
Boy, it's cold down there, Bob.
One of our guests, one of the gals that actually had us come investigate.
Yes.
And she wanted to be there for part of it. And her daughter was listening to it. And her daughter said, that's my mother's voice. And she's mumbling something. Hang on, let me listen again. And she goes, that's my mom. And she's saying, da 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 da.
And then Mom had to come back and say, oh yeah,
that was. And we were so disappointed. Because we really thought, hey, we've got an EVP that's not in English.
Right. Right.
So those are some of the pitfalls on
like
EVPs.
Like the UFO, the Halloween UFO. That was so hilarious. We were all getting ready to leave to go out trick-or-treating with the kids one night.
Yeah.
And I hear everybody buzzing outside. And I grab my camera and head outside. And there are some very strange lights in the sky.
Yes.
So I'm filming this. It's after dark. There's really cool lights. The kids are all freaked out. I'm really excited.
Everybody's singing it.
And then I hear the engines of these planes flying in formation.
Yes.
Oh, it was the Halloween Monday Night Chiefs game.
Yes, it was.
Which you can see that debunk video also on the Rabbit Hole Club. So go check it out.
Yeah.
The game just started.
Yep, the game just started. I'm shaking. That was wild.
We're coming back.
All right. And
We did spend some time in the debunk area when we were doing this a lot. My husband and I did a video on Orbs and Mist and just
fog and snow and rain.
Right, and we just went out in all of these different elements and videotaped like we were videotaping in an investigation with IR and all of that. And so we were able, it was good for ourselves to learn, okay, this is what
that looks
raindrops does. This is this is what that looks like. And
glitter, we did glitter and baby powder and sawdust.
All kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And we did put together a little video on that, and we got a lot of people saying that was really very helpful, because a lot of people, especially when they're investigating, they want something so badly that I got an orb, and,
it's a squatch.
Very squatchy.
Very squatchy.
So yeah, you always have to think about what it is and what it isn't.
Right. Because we know from personal experience throughout our entire lives, both together and individually, that this stuff's real.
Stuff's real.
But that doesn't mean that it's all this stuff.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, so I also wanted to talk about the old high school and jail.
Yes.
Okay, because some of the very best EVPs I've ever heard in my life actually came from that high school and jail.
Yes.
And yes, it was once a high school and also a jail.
Temporarily.
Right. It was a temporary jail while they were building the new police station. Yes. Right.
But it wasn't a high school at the same time.
Right. But it was both inside of this building. Yes. And we got your first visit out there. Oh my God, the EVPs are incredible there.
You got that one, this one, and the other one's still downstairs. And
We just had the three of them, right? We just had the three of them.
Yeah.
This was again, the local police department contacted us and said, strange things are happening out at the old high school, which is a community building. Mm-hmm. Would you guys like to come out and investigate this? Of course we would. And as we get in there, he's telling us a little bit of history for himself, history for some of his jailers that have had to go into this building to get files or something that they're storing in this wing. And he just wanted us to come out and say, hey, please tell me I'm not crazy, He
wasn't crazy.
He was not. And I have to tell you, I loved this investigation, one, because my grandma went to school there.
Right.
Okay. My grandma was born in like 1906 or 8 or something like that.
And she went to school there.
She went to school there. It's an old school. It's an old, big old, beautiful brick
Yep.
schoolhouse. And I could just see her
walking
these halls. And it was nostalgia for me. And so I really enjoyed that. And then the great EVPs we got out of it.
Well, there were some EVPs down in the jail cell was down, jail cells were down in the basement. And we got some incredible, on both visits.
Yes.
The first visit, they set up just a stationary voice recorder in the basement while they were up in the rest of the school. And this was a huge building. They were up in the rest of the school doing some investigative stuff. So they set this voice recorder up in the basement. And while they were gone, they have a very clear EVP of a man saying, "Get out."
Loud.
Out. Yep.
Get out.
Yep. But the next time we were there...
There was only 3 of us on that investigation,
That's
too.
right.
And we were all together.
Upstairs.
Way
in
away
the
from
gym,
there. Way away from this area.
Yep. Floors away.
So then we were like, we have to get the team here.
Right. And that's when, and you also had those full-on conversation EVPs.
Oh, yes.
The one where the guy was like, you're saying, "Are you here? Do you know what the date is? It's 2008, it's September," and there's this long pause, and you hear this man say, "Jesus, 2008. 2008. 8!" And it's like, oh my God, well, there you go then. How long you been here?
My name is Chris. I've lived in Butler for about 10 years. The year is 2008. It's September.
Yeah.
And then there was the old teacher that we were actually able to find
in one of my grandma's yearbooks.
Yes.
Yes, that was
and
cool.
this woman had a full-on EVP conversation with you that you couldn't hear at the time.
No,
you didn't know what she was responding with. But she was telling you to get out of Butler soon, remember?
I remember.
I live in Butler. I have about 5 years, and she's like, get out soon.
She did.
And then you asked her what her name was, and she said her name was Mrs. Ella White.
Yes.
And then we found her.
We found her.
She was a teacher there.
What's your name? What's your name? How old do you think you are? Have you tried to communicate with people before? Do you want us just to leave?
Why
So
she's still
cool.
there, I have no idea.
Don't
Poor lady.
know. But you know, the next time we went back and we had the whole team with us and we set up that voice recorder down in the basement and then left. What did he say then? He didn't say get out. What did he say? Help me out.
Help me out.
Help me out.
Yes. And one of the reasons why we were asked to go in there because of the paranormal stuff is that there had been a man that committed suicide in the cell.
He hung himself.
He did. And this was a temporary situation for the officers, and they felt very bad that this had happened. They thought that they had everything secured the way it needed to be. And it was a bad situation.
Right. And so he's still there.
And he's not happy about it. The one I love there, and I can't remember if it was the first or second investigation, but there was a piano, an old piano up
on the third floor.
On the third floor, way up there. And we had gone up there. I said, "Here's an old piano," and I tinkled the two keys at the end, like Bill Murray does in Ghostbusters. And I even joked, yes, they hate this. We laughed and we left. We went to a different area. And then my husband had a parabolic dish.
Right.
So he's really listening intently to everything. And he said, I hear music.
Yep.
And I hear music. And so, well, where's it coming from? And he's like, I don't know, but it sounds like an old-timey piano playing. And so, of course, the team, we go to the piano. Nothing's there. It's all in the same place. Mm-hmm. But during the review, we got the piano playing.
Right, and a little
the
voice.
The old-timey piano playing.
And there's a little voice singing with it.
It was just amazing. It's really a truly amazing place. Yep. And it's still, like I said, a community center, and people are in and out of there all the time.
Yep.
Interesting.
We haven't had a chance to go back.
No, we haven't. But again, that's another place that we have an open invitation to.
Right. And then we have the Cease building.
Yes.
The Cease building that is no longer there because
it fell in. The Cease building in this town was one of the oldest buildings on the town square. At one time it had been, in Butler. One time it had been the Sears building. My grandma told me it used to be a roller skating rink upstairs.
Oh my God.
She remembers as a kid coming into town and roller skating up there.
Wow.
It'd been there a really long time. When we started investigating there, the lower half of it was a Mexican restaurant, and the upper half of it had been turned into a commercial haunted house for the Elks Lodge. Mm-hmm. And it was a very successful haunted house for a small town. But we were able to get in there, and of course the off season, we went in there several times.
Oh yeah, we were there testing equipment.
That was our testing equipment ground for sure. It was a great place. One of the funnier things that I remember about you and I investigating in there is it's set up like a haunted house.
It is.
And I don't know if this is December or something. It's cold.
Oh yeah.
But you can't see your breath. Not that cold. But
nope.
We're in there investigating, and we decide we're just gonna walk the line of the haunted house. How the people would go through. How it's laid out.
Yep.
And so Bobby's ahead, and Jason's ahead, and you're in front of me, and I'm bringing up the rear. No, opposite that.
Yep,
you were bringing up the rear. And we go past this one corridor that is extremely dark.
Very dark.
And all I feel is your fist in my back, pushing me. Time to go. It's time to go past this. And I looked over in this darkness, and it was like, yes, it's time to go. There was something there.
There was something there.
And we found out later that whatever was there just had a sense of humor.
Oh, yeah. The bird.
Oh, just loved to jack with us. I mean, just had a great sense of humor.
Yep.
There was a lot of cigar smoke or pipe smoke.
Yeah, it was pipe smoke.
That we could smell that, nobody'd been smoking a pipe up there.
Well, no, and it was 2:00 in the morning. There was nobody anywhere in the building. Yeah.
Little sounds, but the thing that affected me the most was the eyeball incident, I guess I'll call it.
That was so weird.
So when I was 18, I had inocular surgery because I had cataracts. So they removed the original lens of my eye and they put in a manufactured lens. And ultimately I had both of them done. So by the time we do this investigation, both of these are done, and it's been 20 years.
But you've had them both done years apart.
Yes,
right.
10 years apart.
Right.
So the lenses are different, actually.
Right.
And when I go to look out one, it might be a little more bluer than the other one. And people have told me all my adult life that in certain sunlight they can see them.
Oh, I can see them.
They'll glint or something, gleam or something, you know. So we're in the dark, it's 2:00 in the morning, we're just sitting there or standing, I don't know what we were doing. It was cold.
Standing,
I remember
and it
being
was
cold. And all of a sudden, my eyes start to fog up.
Your lens.
My lens on my eyes start to, I just can't see anything out of it. Now, this has never, ever, ever happened.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Never. And then all of a sudden, I felt a pressure on my eyeball. Like some dude had stuck his finger on my eyeball. And then I remember pulling my head back and blinking, going, what? Oh. And it started to clear up, and the fog went away, and I could see perfectly, and I was like, hey guys, this weird thing just happened to me.
That happened twice that night.
And about that time, I remember Jason saying, and I smell pipe smoke again. And it was like, okay, this guy's messing with us, and he's caught on that there's something not quite right
about my eyes.
Freaky. He did that to me one more time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beyond the two that night?
No.
Okay, just that. Okay, yeah, because we were walking through the maze.
Yes.
And it was dark, 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 dark.
Yes.
You were in front of me.
And everything
you went
foggy.
Whoa! You stopped in the middle of the hallway. Whoa! It's happening again.
Yeah. And then it was just like, poke. And back off. And it was the same eye. It was the same. He poked the same eye.
So a lot of these adventures are on a feature-length investigation video that we did on Show Me Ghost West website. And if you want to check them out firsthand, I will put a link in the description. This one is, and like I said, it's a feature length. It's like an hour and a half long. It's got several different segments, several different investigations, a whole lot of really cool history. And it's called You're Not Crazy, a Paranormal Journal. And that's through Show Me Ghosts West website. Again, I'll post the link in the description for you. Well, unless you can think of anything else that you want to talk about, I think that we've covered a lot of base
We have, in a very short period of time.
Yeah. That's my show for this week. Special thanks to my amazing family for getting this project off the ground and indulging me down this crazy rabbit hole. Next week, I'll have my dear friend and theater compadre Jennifer Carroll as my guest. We'll be talking about haunted theaters and all the superstitions surrounding them. It'll be a fun and interesting show. Don't miss it. Thanks for listening and keep it surreal.